Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colleges That Change Lives virtual college fair. We thank you for joining us today. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time throughout the next 45 minutes. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of multiple different sessions happening, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions happening after this if you're interested. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/CTCL. And before I turn it over to our first school of the evening, I'm going to share a quick little video for you guys from colleges that change lives. So give me 1 second to get the video up and loaded. And I hope you guys enjoy.
Good evening. My name is Christine Bowman, and I serve as the chair of the Board of Directors of Colleges That Change Lives. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to our event tonight, and I hope you enjoy engaging over the next 2 days with our member institutions to learn more about who we are and the exciting opportunities available at our institution. As an organization, Colleges That Change Lives is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that is dedicated to the advancement and support of a student-centered college admission process. We support the goal of each student finding a college that develops a lifelong love of learning and provides a foundation for a successful and fulfilling life beyond college. In addition, we push back on the media frenzy that surrounds college admission. We help families de-stress the process and really hope that you will enjoy getting to know institutions and a little bit more about yourself. We want you to look beyond the rankings to see that each college has unique attributes and values that can help you grow and learn in your college experience. We believe in the liberal arts, and we speak to the benefits of this type of learning in the college environment. And most importantly, as an organization, we support our member institutions in their activities to successfully welcome students to their college every semester. As an organization, we are 44 member colleges proud. 42 of us are private and 2 are public liberal arts and sciences institutions. We are located in 25 states and have an average enrollment of just over 1,500 students. Now, you may be asking, what is the liberal arts and why should I look at this type of learning in my college search process? Well, the liberal arts are neither about politics nor specifically about fine arts. The term arts is used in the sense of learning across multiple disciplines. And here we're talking about the natural sciences, the social sciences, the fine arts, and the humanities. And within liberal arts colleges, traditionally what you will find is the opportunity to deep dive into a core curriculum of interdisciplinary courses and learning. You will traditionally find small discussion-based courses and classrooms, professors who teach, or when they research, choose to engage their students in their research opportunities. Institutions that provide opportunities beyond just the in-class learning experience, things like study abroad, internships, community engaged learning, and research are all ways in which students can grow and learn. And finally, liberal arts colleges often provide the opportunity to pursue multiple majors, interdisciplinary majors, or paired majors for that student that has more than one passion that they just don't want to give up. And this is really important because we believe that the liberal arts is an education for a lifetime. Outside of the class or in conjunction with your classroom learning, we know that at a liberal arts institution, you're also going to develop these important skills: creative thinking, interdisciplinary thinking, communication skills, both written and verbalizing, working with small groups and large groups, solving complex problems, as well as developing leadership skills and the ability to be a supporter in a journey for all individuals. And while in the beginning this might not seem important, as you continue in your life, this shows an incredible amount of influence because these are the skills that employers are looking for and endorse when they are thinking about hiring individuals. So the Association of the American Colleges and Universities worked with a broad group of employers to try to ascertain what is really important in the individuals that you hire. And it was resounding that of the skills that rose to the top, many of these were not specific to a major or to a particular trade, but were really encouraging people to develop lifelong skills that could be required and used across multiple disciplines. Things like we just talked about, communication skills, problem solving, creativity. The reason why is employers can teach you how to have knowledge about the business, but they can't teach you these skills on the spot. And when they're looking to hire, these are very important competencies that they are looking for in the individuals that they interview and ultimately make offers to. So we believe that this is an enhancement to the liberal arts degree, is that it not only teaches you knowledge, but it helps you have these skills that can take you not only into your first job, but to jobs further on down the line. Sometimes a private school investment makes individuals a little nervous, and we understand that price tag may look large, but the return on investment can be incredible. And the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce shows that the return on investment for liberal arts education is nearly $200,000 higher than the median for all colleges. And that 40-year return on investment over a lifetime of employment, the return on liberal arts institution is close to those of engineering schools as well as business schools. So you don't have to attend one of those specific institutions to see a lifelong opportunity for engaged learning, engaged contributions to the community, and return on investment. So I hope this information is helpful for you as you begin your journey over the next couple of evenings. If you would like to learn more about colleges that change lives and our member institutions, we hope you'll visit our webpage. And know that we have recently updated to add a college search feature amongst our institutions. So if you're looking for a specific major, opportunity to participate in athletics or a particular region of the country, we have a way in which you can get to know us better. Thank you for joining us and have a great evening.
So now I would like to turn it over to our first presenter of the evening, Hillsdale College.
Thank you, Kelsey. My name is Kelly Kane, and I am the Director of West Coast Recruitment for Hillsdale College, along with being a 2014 graduate of Hillsdale myself. Now, in my job, I work with students specifically from Southern California, Arizona, Hawaii, and Alaska. In a moment, I'll tell you that a lot of our students at Hillsdale come from out of state. And so I am one part of the application review process at Hillsdale, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about my alma mater. Now, Hillsdale is a small, private, independent, Christian, classical liberal arts college located in Southern Michigan. We have roughly 1,460 undergraduate students coming from all 50 states, and roughly 70% of our students come from outside of Michigan to Hillsdale. And in addition to being a member of Colleges That Change Lives, Hillsdale is also recognized as a top 100 liberal arts college in America and has received an A+ financial health score from Forbes. So it's definitely a school that prides itself on its history and its liberal arts approach and its strong student community, all of which I'll be talking about in the next few minutes here. Quick history lesson to start. Hillsdale was founded as a college in 1844 by a group of Free Will Baptists, and when Hillsdale was founded, it was the first U.S. college founded with an anti-discrimination clause. So since our founding in 1844, Hillsdale has prohibited discrimination based on race, religion, sex, and country of origin. And in fact, we were the second college in U.S. history to admit women. And why this history still matters more than 175 years later is it explains both our faith and our financial story. So first, faith. While Hillsdale is a Christian school, it is also a non-sectarian one. So we do not affiliate with a specific denomination or part of the Christian tradition, and we don't require that our students be a Christian to attend. There are lots of opportunities to practice your faith at Hillsdale through clubs, through our chapel, our chaplain's office, and all students also take a Western theology class to graduate, but no one is required to sign a statement of faith, and instead we have an honor code. And that in terms of finances, Hillsdale is an entirely independent and private college. We accept no government funding and instead provide entirely private financial aid and scholarships, which is where I'll end our time today. But talking about what makes Hillsdale a classical liberal arts college, it's a traditional approach to education. We want students to become more flexible and creative problem solvers who can articulate and explain their ideas to others. So we ask students to spend a third of their time in this core curriculum that you see here, developing their reading, writing, research, and rhetoric skills. And you'll see that the core includes classes like Great Books Literature, Western and American Heritage History classes, a course on the US Constitution, fine arts, philosophy, along with biology, chemistry, and mathematics. So this third of your time is really spent building a strong foundation in addition to your major. And the goal of a classical education at Hillsdale is helping students to find a knowledge of what is good, true, and beautiful. So we talk about those as the aims of Hillsdale. And the other 2/3 of your time goes into the major of your choice. Students at Hillsdale have more than 40 programs which they can choose from for majors and minors. Some of our most popular programs include biology, economics, English, history, and politics, but there are many options to choose from. Advising tracks for students interested in pre-law, pre-medicine, pre-dentistry, pre-engineering, and pre-veterinary medicine are also quite popular at Hillsdale. But one thing that as a small school we're able to provide is that accessibility to professors. The average class size at Hillsdale is only 15 students, and we have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So we really pride ourselves on students working with professors on research and in the laboratories, on getting those professors to advise them on choosing a major and applying for internships during the summer, and really building those strong relationships. To supplement your major and the core curriculum, there are also research and internship opportunities at Hillsdale. So just to highlight a few of those, that top picture there is at our biology field research station. Hillsdale owns 685 acres for outdoor environmental science, forestry, animal behavior, and more research in northern Michigan. So for our biology and biochemistry students, that is a great research opportunity for them. For our health science students, those pre-med and pre-dental and pre-pharmacy students at Hillsdale, we also have both a human cadaver lab and a genetics research lab on campus for our undergraduates. Other opportunities include the bottom picture, which is our Washington, D.C. internship semester. So for students who want to take their college classes with Hillsdale in D.C. for half of their junior or senior year, plus earning credit for a full-time internship in the capital area, that is a great opportunity at Hillsdale, is that Washington Hillsdale internship program. And then of course, we also offer study abroad opportunities. So roughly a quarter of our students will spend time studying off Hillsdale's campus in some capacity, and many of those students study abroad in countries like the United Kingdom, Spain, France, Argentina, and Germany. So as full semester exchange program students. And the results of all of this of a Hillsdale education is a strong graduate placement rate. So for our students who graduated in May 2020, not quite a year ago now, they had a 97% graduate placement rate within 6 months, meaning that within 6 months of ending their education at Hillsdale, they were employed full-time, continuing at graduate school, or were in full-time volunteer or military service. And you can see on the screen here a list of some of the example graduate programs and employers that those students immediately went to. You'll also notice that more than 90% of Hillsdale alums say that their first job after Hillsdale directly relates to what they studied and their long-term career goals. But your education at Hillsdale is a lot more than just time in the classroom in the library. So I want to talk about some student life opportunities as well. Again, with being a 70% out-of-state student population, it is a very active campus. It's also a very residential campus. So all freshmen live in the dorms, and then overall, almost 3/4 of students live in on-campus housing. Extracurricular opportunities include more than 100 clubs on Hillsdale's campus. Some of our most popular clubs include Hillsdale Christian Fellowship, opportunities for student government, film society, and outdoor recreation club. We also have an active Greek life. So about 20% of students at Hillsdale join a fraternity or a sorority. We are an NCAA Division II program. So roughly a quarter of our students compete on one of Hillsdale's 14 D2 varsity teams, along with opportunities for all students to join intramural and club sports as well. We also offer the performing arts at Hillsdale. So 40% of our students get involved with music, dance, or theater in some capacity. Plus there are opportunities to compete in debate and mock trial, write for our college newspaper, which is ranked top 5 in the nation, host a show on our radio station, or probably the most popular student activity overall at Hillsdale is volunteerism. And the average Hillsdale student who volunteers does so for more than 70 hours each school year. So you'll notice it's a place where people get very involved and are very passionate about their causes and their activities. And one thing that beyond the student opportunities for extracurricular activities, but another big part of that student culture is the honor code at Hillsdale. It's on the screen in front of you, but we ask all students to sign a copy of this, challenging them to be honest, respectful, dutiful, and to be service-oriented. And so it creates a really safe and trusting campus community that emphasizes and believes in academic honesty and also in civil discourse in the classroom. So where I want to end is by a brief overview of the application and scholarship processes. Hillsdale is on the Common App, or you can apply at hillsdale.edu. For fall 2022 and 2023 applicants, we are continuing to be test optional, and admissions interviews are strongly recommended. We offer merit, talent, and need-based aid scholarships to more than 98% of our students, with the average scholarship package being more than $21,000 per year. So I hope that this picture is this painted a clear picture of Hillsdale for you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kelly. Next up, we are going to hear from Hope College.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick here. So hello, everyone. Thanks so much for being here and taking the time to learn about a handful of institutions from colleges that change lives. We are Hope College, and hopefully in the next 7 or 8 minutes, I'm going to be able to highlight some things specific to our institution in the context of this greater CTCL consortium. So to kick us off, my name is Skylar. I am one of the associate directors of recruitment at Hope. I'm a 2013 graduate of Hope. I majored in English with a minor in psychology. Also was super involved in theater and music during my time there. And currently I serve on a team of 3 regional representatives that live in the Chicagoland area. So special shout out to all my Chicagoland friends who have joined us. And with me, who will be monitoring the chat, is my colleague, Megan Marthins, who is also on the admissions staff. She'll be monitoring to see if you have any questions that come up, but also as I'm talking, she might drop some helpful links in the chat too. So feel free to grab those, throw them into your web browser so you can check them out later. Okay, so to kick us off, I think the first thing to talk about is where is Hope College located and a little bit about the surrounding area. So Hope is located in Holland, Michigan. If you come to Hope and you're not from Michigan, you're going to have to learn how to do this, because all of us from Michigan, we whip out our hand and use it as a map to show you where we're at. So we are located on the west side of the state here, right on Lake Michigan. It's a beautiful beach town with tons of restaurants, coffee shops. There's a movie theater right next door to campus. It's kind of a vacation destination, honestly. So pretty cool that you could potentially spend 4 years here. I like to call the downtown area kind of our second student union. It's literally 1 block over. And like I said, everything you could want within walking distance. So it's a very cool area to spend 4 years during your college experience. Now, I want to touch on academics and kind of what it means to be a smaller private liberal arts education or liberal arts institution, and then also some more specifics on the wide breadth of strong academic programs. So we have about 3,200 students on campus, average class size 20 to 25 students, student to faculty ratio 11:1. So it's definitely a more intimate setting. You're going to get to know your faculty members super well. I always tell this story that, when I was at Hope, all of our faculty members are required to hold office hours, but I actually couldn't have told you when a single one of my professors' office hours were. And it's not because I was lazy and didn't take advantage of that resource, but it's because my faculty members were so accessible. These were people that I knew if I shot an email in the evening, they were probably going to get back to me that same night. If I had questions, I could just stick around after class and talk to them, or just go pop into their office. These people could be teaching anywhere, but they choose to teach at Hope because they believe in the mission of Hope, and they also believe in this idea of supporting undergraduate students. So this is definitely going to be a relational experience. I think on the other side of that, though, being that we're about 3,200 students, we're still big enough that you're constantly going to be meeting new people too. I tell this story of even my last day at Hope, my graduation ceremony, I met someone new, someone I had never seen before in my entire 4 years. And I think that just highlights that, yeah, every year we're bringing 800 new students to campus from all over the world and all over the country. So it's definitely not going to feel like high school part 2. Now, in terms of being a liberal arts institution, so that means that, yes, you're going to have your content area, and that's going to be the bulk of your academic experience, but also you're going to take classes in a lot of different areas that are really going to make you a well-rounded student. If one thing that's become really apparent from this COVID-19 pandemic, it's that things can change really quickly. And we need to be adaptable as professionals in whatever field that we're doing. I think the critical thinking skills, the writing skills, the communication skills that you're going to learn in a liberal arts environment is going to help you no matter what you do after graduation. So you're going to have this major specific experience that's going to prepare you really well for a profession after Hope, but also you're going to take some classes that are going to make you a really well-rounded student too. Now, when we talk about these specific academic programs that you may be majoring in, really a wide breadth of strong academic areas. So we have over 90 majors, minors, and pre-professional programs. On one end of the spectrum, we're consistently ranked in the top 30 for undergraduate research opportunities. So that's alongside your big R1 research institution players like a Northwestern, an MIT, a Yale. We have those same type of opportunities at Hope. And I think one could argue they're even more accessible at Hope because all of these opportunities are specifically for undergraduate students. When you go to present at conferences and things like that, you're going to be presenting alongside PhD candidates, alongside master's level students. It's going to be your name that's showing up as a co-author on these periodicals and things like that. So I think that's a pretty cool piece. We're also one of the only liberal arts institutions to be accredited in all the arts: music, theater, dance, studio art. We're consistently in the top 2 for teacher preparation programs, so if you're interested in education. So all this to say, a really wide breadth of strong academic areas. So whatever you're interested in studying, pretty likely you're going to be able to do it at a high level at Hope. And we already talked about undergraduate research opportunities, so I'll keep on keeping on. Before I get into student orgs, though, one other piece I just want to quickly touch on is off-campus experiences. So we've talked a little bit about the opportunities that are going to be available to you in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom as well. About 50% of our students will study off campus in some capacity, whether that's a full semester internationally, whether that's a full semester doing a domestic program like the Chicago semester, for example, where you have an internship in the city, you get to live in the Gold Coast, and you take all these courses on social justice within the city of Chicago. Or maybe you're doing one of these 1-month programs that we have. So we also have May, June, and July terms where you can get off campus for a month and go have an international or a domestic experience through that too. Also internships, about 60 to 70% of our students will have some sort of internship component to their academic experience at Hope, whether that's something locally in the Holland or Grand Rapids area, but also opportunities, like I said, in places like Chicago, New York, Washington, DC. Those are going to be available to you as well. Now, I know you're going to be studying 99.9% of the time, probably not a lot of time for fun, saying that in case there are any parents on the call for the presentation. But for that little bit of time that you want to have a good time, just know you're going to have that. So I talked a little bit about the surrounding area and everything that's going on around campus, but also on campus too. So we have over 80 student organizations, you name it, it's there, from the outdoor adventure club to the knitting club to Greek life to intramural sports. Those opportunities are going to be available to you. We are a Division III school, but a very lively culture for athletics. So we have a historic rivalry with Calvin College that's been featured on a lot of top 10 lists alongside these Division I programs. This really lively, awesome student section called the Do Crew. So a really fun atmosphere for athletics as well. We have some cool campus traditions that are very specific to Hope. One that I like to talk about is the pole. For the sake of time, I won't go too in depth on this, but your homework is to go to YouTube and look up the Pull, P-U-L-L. It is a tug of war competition at Hope that's been around for 130 years, but I can't do it justice talking about it. So you got to go check it out. It's very, very cool. So I hope you'll do that. And then also another one I have highlighted is Intramural Sports. One thing I like about intramurals at Hope is that you have a more competitive league and a less competitive league. So for me, I played basketball in high school. So when I would play intramural basketball at Hope, I'd be in the more competitive league, but I'm also terrible at every other sport ever created. So for those, I would just play for fun, which was pretty cool too. So a lot of fun stuff happening on campus. You're not going to be bored. That first weekend that you're here for orientation, you're actually going to be able to go to a thing called the Activities Fair, where you can start signing up from day one for some of the different organizations that we have on campus. So a lot of ways to get plugged in and to get involved. Now, I do want to quickly touch on the fact that we are a faith-based institution. So we are a Christian school. We're affiliated with the RCA, which is the Reformed Church in America, but we're not governed by the RCA. And I truly love the way the faith dimension plays out at Hope, because it is an opportunity, not an obligation. So when you come to Hope, you don't have to sign a statement of faith or something that says you're a Christian. You're not required to attend chapel services. You don't even have to take any religion classes that are specific to the Christian faith. What's cool is that so many students do take part in this. So our chapel services, for example, they run for about 20 minutes, not required, and we average close to 1,500 students in attendance. So a lot of good stuff happening there. I see Kelsey, my time is ending. So here is my contact information. 9 minutes goes way too fast. I couldn't do justice to everything we need to talk about. So if you have more questions, follow up with me. I'd love to help you out, including application information, which I didn't get to. So shoot me an email. We can definitely talk about that. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And students, don't forget to utilize that Q&A to all of our panelists while you have them. Next up, we are going to go to St. Olaf College.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. I am just figuring out this little share screen button, but my name is Gladys. I am an admissions officer at St. Olaf. I did not attend St. Olaf, but I did attend a liberal arts college. I attended Carleton, which is also in Northfield. So I've gotten to personally live that fun rivalry that the two colleges have. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But we are a private liberal arts institution, and our campus has about 3,000 students. So one thing I always like to clarify about this picture is that while it looks like it's very empty in the background, we're on a hill. We're on probably like the only hill in Northfield, and so that is why it looks so empty, but it is a really welcoming college town. It's a total of 20,000 people here, but between us and Carleton, we bring in 5,000 college students. So it is really fun to have another set of neighbors, friendly rivals is what we call them. But a little bit more about kind of who we are. About 60% of our students come from outside of Minnesota. So as you can see, we are not super north. You will not freeze to death, as a lot of people often assume about Minnesota. But we are towards the south. We're about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis and St. Paul. One thing that I want to just contextualize about Northfield is, again, super cute college town, coffee shops, bakeries, very much Hallmark in real life. And that's not an exaggeration. There was a Hallmark movie that was filmed here in Northfield. So that's just a little bit about a fun fact for you. But in terms of transitioning it to campus and who we are fairly small. As I said, we have a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And while our average class size is 23, I think it's a little bit of a misconception. So one way I like to describe kind of the most, like the median of our courses is that we have 20 students in about 60% of our classes or less. And so that should give you a little bit more of a picture of who we are. We are definitely a collaborative and very relationship driven school. And so this is not the place where you would necessarily have like a very cutthroat environment, but instead we like living and learning as a community. So more on the living together later. But things that I like to emphasize in this slide is really experiential learning. So you will absolutely be learning in the classroom, but getting hands-on experiences is something that is super valuable and that we really, really care about here at St. Olaf. So about 92% of our students will participate in an internship, research, or job opportunity at some point. And so within study abroad, I think we have a couple of different options. You can study abroad for a semester, you can study abroad for a year, or we have this like time period in our academic calendar called interim. A lot of students will call it J-term because it's over the month of January. And so during that time, you can, take off. And if you don't want to be in cold Minnesota, you can study abroad elsewhere for that month, just for 4 weeks. The really neat thing about study abroad is that we want to make it accessible to students. So yes, it's great when schools have like 100+ programs like we do, but if it's a semester or a year-long program, your financial aid will apply directly. So it's super great in order to be able to make it affordable, right? Because otherwise, how are you going to attend other than just being able to be on campus? But if you've heard about St. Olaf, so another little aspect of ours, you've probably heard music thrown right around in there. So about a third of our students participate in music, about 50 participate in either music, art, theater, or dance. We are a really balanced community. And so while we love music, we also really love the sciences. And the perfect thing about that is that you don't have to necessarily be a major to be involved in either, right? That's the point of a liberal arts college, is to have a well-rounded education. But if you want to have a really competitive experience with either department, you certainly can. The last thing I will say about this is that we do have fine arts scholarships. So that is the one thing that students would apply for when thinking about St. Olaf. More on that later, but I will keep going. In terms of bringing it to the community aspect, 95% of our students live on campus, and that is true for all 4 years. So this is not just representative of our freshman class. We have one dining hall. It is kind of the heart of campus. It's not the only eating space on campus, so I will clarify that. We have an awesome, quick, like grab and go cafe style option for all your needs, whether it's coffee, something fried, or something healthy if you're feeling like that specific day. I typically order 2 over hard eggs with toast. And so I really miss being on campus because sometimes that's what I wanted at 1:30 p.m. And a little bit more about the third option is super great. So it's a student-run pizzeria right in that same building of the top picture that you see on your screen. Through the windows, you can kind of see our dining hall, but the student-run pizzeria runs into the late evening. They do deliver on campus. So during late night study sessions, it is a really great thing to have. So we don't have Greek life on campus, but we do have 19 honor in language houses. So these become spaces where student organizations or different, like I said, language groups will gather more intentionally. So I like to think about it as community within our larger community. And that's just one kind of angle that we like to make sure to have, so different student groups can occupy those spaces. So some of those houses will change from year to year. The other thing I wanted to mention was just in terms of student organizations, all sort of kinds. A couple of my favorite would be OUTS, which is called Always Under the Sun. It's just an acronym for that. And it's our outdoors program. They had a bonfire brunch last fall. So right, this was pre-COVID. And we do have a big bonfire pit on campus, which was so great to have right behind one of the dorms. And I was really jealous not to be a student because I really wanted to go. Like bonfires and breakfast is definitely my jam. We are a Division III college, and so students can have a really competitive experience with that, but they can also have, intramural and club options as well. In terms of our application process, this is just a little glimpse of it, and there are a lot of details. So rather than rushing through it, I would absolutely encourage you to reach out to talk about this process in further detail. But as you can see, the 2 things to keep in mind is that we have a lot of different application rounds. They all have different deadlines, and they all have different, I guess they have different deadlines and they have different notification days. So If you are thinking about any of them or considering applying to St. Olaf, you can fill out part 1 and we can start talking to you about, who we are and what sort of things you need to keep in mind. We are a college that meets 100% of demonstrated financial need. So what that means is that we are committed to making sure that St. Olaf is an affordable option for you, depending on your family's financial aid background. So we take that, we take what FAFSA and the CSS profile say you can contribute, we subtract it, and then we meet that gap. So all students are considered automatically for merit scholarships. And as I mentioned before, the fine arts are the only ones that you need to apply for. But kind of moving on to the types of students that come out of St. Olaf. I can tell you and regurgitate all of these percentages, but I'd rather focus on the how and how this happens. So it happens in 2 ways. It happens with intentional advising. As early as your freshman year, you will have a faculty advisor assigned to you and working with you from day 1, right? Even before you have your class schedule finalized, there will be a professor to talk with you about your aspirations, whether you absolutely know what you want to do, whether you're undecided, all of those things, there will be someone working with you through that. The other way in terms of finding opportunities, it will be our Piper Center for Vocation and Career, essentially our career center who doesn't care what part of the process you're in. You can have a resume, you can have an interview lined up, or have no idea where to start. But regardless, they are there to help. So again, relationship driven and collaborative really defines both our staff members and our professors. So the last thing I'll say is just reach out if you have questions, but here is all that contact information for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now, last but not least, I'm going to turn it over to Wabash College.
Now, if I could figure out how to get out of here, sorry. Give me just a second, Wabash.
Gladys, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? All good. Okay, cool. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and we're going to jump into presenting mode. Very good. So, hi everyone. My name is Joey Conti. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admissions here at Wabash College in Crawfordsville, Indiana. I've been with college since 2016, and I'm a Wabash graduate of 2015. So it didn't take me long to come back and work for the school. Generally speaking, I recruit from students from Michigan and students from Missouri, as well as students from Northern Indiana. Of course, we are in Crawfordsville, so most of our students do come from the state of Indiana, about 60%, and then about 40% are students from out of state. Wabash is one of just 3 men's colleges left in the country. We're a single-sex institution, but actually as part of the CTCL, I always feel like it's important to mention that some of our partners here with the CTCL, Agnes Scott College is an all-female school. So we have representation from both sides of that coin. So I'm going to jump into things, but first I do just want to share here at Wabash, we think students are learning more, they're earning more, leading more, and they're playing more. They're having more fun here on campus. And of course, we'll jump into some of the ways that we're doing that. So of course, we're finding ways to learn more. We have 39 majors and minors here at the school. We are obviously a liberal arts college, but some of our new majors include computer science and PPE, philosophy, politics, and economics. And then we also have something called our Wabash X programs, which we're really excited about. Those programs are the Center for Innovation, Business, and Entrepreneurship, which is sort of our business arm of the Wabash X program. Wabash Democracy and Public Discourse, Global Health Initiative, and the Digital Arts and Human Values. So we've got some great programs. These are co-curricular, which means you major in whatever you want to major in. Maybe that's biology or chemistry or philosophy or rhetoric. And then you go on and ultimately you take these programs outside of the classroom. The CIBE program takes place outside, Democracy and Public Discourse, and of course the same with the GHI. We also are very proud to announce that here at Wabash, every student is guaranteed the chance to go on an immersion learning course. There's a distinction. Immersion learning is a little bit different than a full semester study abroad program. But an immersion learning course is 6 weeks in the classroom, followed by 3 or 4 weeks outside of the classroom, whether that's in places like here in the United States or overseas, okay? We've had students go to Ireland and Peru, the United Kingdom, you name it. So lots of really cool opportunities to get out of the United States on Wabash's dime. We think that students are learning more, and we think these rankings help us show that, right? So here we really focus on the Princeton Review and the Best Colleges Guide. We have the best alumni network. That's what Wabash is known for. Obviously, being a men's college, we are truly a brotherhood here at the school. So our guys graduate and then ultimately go on to join a network of about 14,000 alumni that take jobs all over the country. We have the best internship opportunities. So we're one of the best internship schools in the nation. Most accessible professors, career services. Our professors get high marks and classroom experience. And these are just some of the rankings that we think really show that Wabash shines in terms of the academic experience, the types of things that you're learning here on campus. Our students are earning more than your average graduate. So if you take a look, you can see here, this is from the class of 2019. I need to get my slideshow updated here, but 87% first destination at graduation. So that means that on the day of graduation, 87% of our graduating class already had a job or placement in a graduate program. And that number jumps to 99% after 6 months. Okay, so we're very proud to say that if you graduate from Wabash, there is a darn good chance you're going to find work. And then Wabash men out-earn their peers over a 20-year period by about $363,000. And 1 in 10 Wabash graduates holds the title of president, CEO, chairman, etc. Okay, so these are mid-career salaries. If you're interested in this data, I'm a data person. If you're interested in this data, it can be found on payscale.com or on the Princeton Review. Okay, so we're going to keep moving along here. Our students have gone on to take jobs or internships at all of these companies. Some of them are familiar here in the state of Indiana. Some of them are familiar nationally. I think the number is over 30% of Wabash graduates will go on eventually and get an advanced degree, which I'm proud of, because ultimately it shows our students have an interest in lifelong learning, like all great liberal arts students do, but also that their education here at Wabash prepared them very well. One thing I do want to kind of rewind and touch base on is the actual classroom experience. Here at Wabash, we have an average class size of 13 students, and over 97% of classes are taught by a professor with a PhD, with a terminal degree in their field. Okay, so you will have a small class size. Your professor will obviously know you by name. And for the guys out there, if you miss class, they'll probably track you down and tell you to put down the controller and get your butt to class, right? So professors hold our students very accountable here in class. We also think students are leading more. They're finding ways to lead their peers. They're learning what it means to sort of to lead others. And I think that goes on and really shines if you look at that 1 in 10 Wabash graduate statistic. So you take a look here. Here are some of the ways our students are getting involved. Our student government is the Student Senate, and it has an operating budget of over $300,000, which means you guys as students have access to that money. If you want to start a club, all you need is a faculty sponsor and a budget proposal. And I'll give you an example. So we've actually had students that just loved coffee. And so they started a coffee club on campus, secured a budget for it, and flew in coffee from all over the world to share with other students. The Sphinx Club is sort of the keeper of traditions on campus. You'll see some photos. They're the guys wearing the funny red and white stripes and the pot. And then, of course, Wabash has a vibrant fraternity life. Actually, we have 10 national fraternities here on campus. Over 60% of our students will join a fraternity house. And here on campus, you can join a house as a first semester freshman. The IFC is sort of the governing body of fraternities, and the IMA is the Independent Men's Association. We're a school full of brotherhoods, right? So the IMA is its own brotherhood, and that's for students who decide not to join a fraternity house. We're proud to also have the Malcolm X Institute here on our campus. The Malcolm X Institute is a center for cultural learning and a cultural understanding. And it's a place where students can go and feel like they have a sense of camaraderie. But more importantly, it's a center for excellence. They have a full service kitchen, tutors on staff, a library, a computer lab, and the Malcolm X Institute just does tremendous work here on our campus. It's also a club. It's open to anyone, and they're always having people out serving burgers and dogs and helping people understand the Black experience here in the United States and at Wabash specifically. And then over 60 student-led clubs and organizations here on campus. We talk about leadership a lot, and that is one of the ways that our guys are doing it. We also think we're having a lot of fun here on campus. We're NCAA Division III, and that's one of the many ways here. I'm getting some chats. I just want to make sure I'm not running over time. But 12 varsity sports, including volleyball, which started here in 2020. We just had our inaugural season. And I think one of these Michigan schools smacked us around pretty good this year. So hats off to you guys. So last but not least, I'll kind of move to the very end here. But Wabash, obviously, we're accepting applications starting on August 1st for you juniors, and immediately for anyone who wants to apply this current year. I'm Joey Conti, and you guys can reach out to me at any time at contij@wabash.edu. So that's my time. Kelsey, are you going to jump in here?
Yeah, thank you so much, Joey. And thank you to everyone for presenting this evening. We really appreciate you guys taking time to share with our students. And students, thank you for joining us. When you close out of this window, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey where we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. This was just one of multiple sessions being hosted, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions happening after this. In about a week, you will be able to find this session's recording, as well as all the other sessions at strivescan.com/CTCL. Thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.